Welcome back to Master 79. In this video we're taking a complete part 1 speaking topic colors and working through it exactly the way a band 9 candidate would. You'll see the brainstorming first, then the full spoken answers, and finally the language that makes them work. First, what part 1 really is. It lasts 4 to 5 minutes and covers familiar everyday topics. The examiner is reading from a script, so questions arrive quickly and you should be speaking for roughly 20 to 40 seconds each time. Crucially, this is not a knowledge test. Nobody is judging whether your opinion is interesting. They are judging the English you use to express it against exactly the same 4 criteria as the rest of the test. Here is our question set. What is your favorite color and why? Are there any colors that you dislike and why? Will you choose to decorate your room in bright colors? And have you ever bought anything because you liked its color? Notice that every single one carries a why. That why is the examiner telling you the answer alone is not enough. You are marked on 4 things, each worth a quarter of your speaking score. Fluency and coherence. Can you keep going without unnatural pauses, and do your ideas connect? Lexical resource. Is your word choice precise and natural? Grammatical range and accuracy. Do you mix simple and complex structures, and are they accurate? And pronunciation. Are you clearly understandable with natural stress and rhythm? Keep these 4 in mind as we build every answer. Every answer in this video follows the same shape. Answer. Commit to a direct response in your first few words, with no throat clearing and no repeating the question back. Reason. Give the why the question asked for, which is where your more complex grammar naturally appears. Extend. Add 1 concrete detail, an example, a habit, a small story. Then stop, roughly 3 sentences, and let the examiner move on. Before we start, 4 ways candidates throw away marks on this topic. 1. One-word answers. If you simply say blue, there is nothing to assess, so there is nothing to reward. 2. Memorized speeches. They sound rehearsed and they usually stop answering the actual question. 3. Overrunning. A 90-second answer in part 1 suggests you cannot judge register. And 4. Relying only on basic color words. Blue, red and green will not lift your lexical score on their own. Question 1. Your favorite color. In the brainstorm, notice the first decision. Choose a specific shade rather than a basic color. Sage green, teal, burgundy. That one choice lifts your lexical resource immediately. For the reason, describe the feeling it gives you rather than a fact about the color. Then extend with somewhere that color genuinely appears in your life. On the right are the phrases we'll actually use, including the emphatic do. I do find I concentrate better in there. Here is the answer. It's a soft sage green. Actually, I've been drawn to it for years. I think that's because it sits somewhere between calm and alive. It doesn't shout at you the way red does, but it isn't cold either. I ended up painting my study that color, and I do find I concentrate better in there. Look at what that does. A specific shade rather than green. A contrast structure. It doesn't shout at you, but it isn't cold either. And a personal detail at the end that no examiner could have heard before. Question 2. A color you dislike. The brainstorm starts with softening. In English, absolute statements like I hate orange sound blunt, so we hedge first. Then we separate the color from ourselves. It's fine on other people, it's just wrong on me. That's a far more sophisticated position than simply saying it's ugly. Add 1 unexpected second reason, in this case what the color reminds you of, and allow yourself a little humor as long as it stays brief. The answer. I wouldn't say I hate any color outright, but I'm not particularly keen on bright orange. On other people it can look fantastic, it's just that it completely washes me out. And there's something about it I associate with roadworks and safety vests which isn't the most flattering association. Notice the hedged opener. I wouldn't say I hate any color outright. Notice the concession. On other people it can look fantastic. That willingness to see both sides in a single sentence is very characteristic of a high band speaker. Question 3 asks what you will do, so it needs conditional forms rather than plain facts. The strongest move here is not a flat no. It is no to the extreme version, yes to a moderate one. Justify by function, what is the room actually for? Then extend with the practical compromise you would genuinely make. And look at the last phrase on the right. What I would do is keep the walls neutral. That's a cleft sentence, and it is excellent evidence of grammatical range. The answer. Probably not the whole room, no. I'd find wall-to-wall brights quite overwhelming to live with, especially somewhere I'm meant to be winding down. What I would do is keep the walls fairly neutral and bring the color in through cushions and prints. That way you get the lift without the headache and you can swap it out when you get bored of it. 3 things to steal there. The conditional runs all the way through. The cleft sentence, what I would do is, gives the examiner a structure to reward, and the compromise is concrete cushions and prints, not just a vague more colorful. Question 4. Have you ever is a present perfect question, so answer in the present perfect and then switch to past simple as soon as you give the specific example. That switch alone shows control of tense. One specific object always beats a general habit, so choose something you can name precisely, a mustard yellow coat, not some clothes. And the answer. Constantly, I'm afraid. The most ridiculous example was a mustard yellow coat I bought purely because the color caught my eye in the window. It didn't really go with anything else I own. I still wear it though, so I'd say it was money well spent even if it wasn't a very rational purchase. A one-word opener is fine here because it is immediately followed by the story. Notice the tense shift into the past, the precisely named object, and the idiom, caught my eye, used naturally rather than bolted on. Here is the whole set on one side so you can see the rhythm of a real part 1 exchange. 4 questions, 4 answers, none of them longer than about 30 seconds. Pause the video here if you want to read them through, or shadow them out loud line by line. Here is the language bank. Column 1, precise shades. Sage green, olive, teal, burgundy, navy, charcoal, mustard yellow, dusky pink, and the contrast between muted tones and bold shades. Column 2, natural collocations, which is where most of your marks are hiding. It washes me out. It caught my eye, a pop of color. It doesn't go with anything. The color grows on you. And column 3, opinion and hedging language, I'm not particularly keen on. I wouldn't say I hate it outright, quite overwhelming to live with. Learn these as whole phrases, not single words. So why do I call these band 9? Fluency and coherence. Each answer commits, develops one idea, and closes cleanly. Lexical resource, precise shades, and idiomatic collocation, used naturally rather than decoratively. Grammatical range, conditionals, cleft sentences, concession clauses, and a tense shift, all accurate and all doing real work. And pronunciation, these are written to be spoken in short clauses. One important caveat on screen now. This Band 9 label reflects my own quality check against the publicly available ielts band descriptors. It is not a score awarded by a certified examiner, and pronunciation in particular can only be judged from your own live speech. Now it's your turn. This week's challenge: record all 4 answers in your own words. Use 1 precise shade, 1 collocation from the language bank, and 1 conditional. Then post your favorite line in the comments and I'll read through them. If this helped, do subscribe because the next part 1 topic is already in production. Thanks for watching and good luck with your test.